Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Well, hello, what's up, everybody? It's Tracks After Dark again. How you doing, guys? I hope you're having a good day. I hope you got to enjoy watching some football to where we actually didn't have to watch Chicago Bears lose. That's always a good day in my book, man. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are staying warm. It's still raining here in Chicagoland. It is crazy, man. It's pouring down like cats and freaking dogs, man. So this is the After Dark show, our second one in creation. Shout out to Edmonds with his vision and his idea. I decided to capture it and be about it. So yeah, this title is called The Shocking Truth About Ryan Poles. So I did a deep dive. A lot of people have been asking me. They've been wanting to weigh in on Poles, because we got a heart for the guy, right? He had a reclamation project. There was a lot that was left behind with Ryan Pace and everything. This inflated freaking contracts he had to get rid of. Not looking really good when he first got here. Trying to see exactly what he would do. He's actually done well in some areas, and in some areas are actually quite alarming. And until you really unpack all that and look at it, sometimes, to be honest with you, you can give people a pass on some things that are out there and are actually quite alarming. So let's get into it. We're going to unpack it into three different key categories. One's going to be Ryan Poles in the draft, his draft moves. What did he do in the free agency? What did he do in the free agency? What did he do in the draft? And what did he do with coaching? Did he help the coaching out at all? Did he help the draft out at all in any of his draft moves in the free agency? How did he do there? We're going to break it into those three categories, and by then we're going to make a calculated decision at the end of the show. We're going to open it up. I encourage you guys to hang around, stick around, and we are going to unpack it and offer to open it up to the chat in a question and answer. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hang on tight, and let's get into it. First thing I want to get into is Ryan Poles' draft moves. 2022 draft. Can anybody remember who we picked up in the 2022 draft? Who was the first pick that we got in the 2022 draft? That's right. It was Kyler Gordon, the first pick. Wasn't all pro. And remember, we didn't have a first pick in that draft either. In the first round, we didn't have a first round draft pick. So it was 2 second round draft picks. Okay. The first one we got was Kyler Gordon. He's not an all pro, but it was a solid pick for what they gave up for him in the second round. 39th overall pick overall, right? He had some minor injuries, but we're going to go ahead and give this a passing grade, guys. Jaquan Brisker, another second round draft pick, back-to-back defensive backs. Not quite the way that I liked it, but it ended up better than I thought. 48th pick overall, similar story, but with concussion concerns, which Poles really can't control. He really can't control that. Not a home run, but still a good pick. And I give that one a passing grade. So far we've got 2 passing grades, nothing solid. The jury's still out on Brisker, but again, we really can't do a whole lot with that concussion protocol stuff. We want to take that seriously. We hope that he's okay. We hope that he heals up. But at the end of the day, we're talking about Poles and his draft picks. So far, to unpack the first 2 picks, Kyler Gordon, we got a pass on him. Second pick, we got Brisker, a pass on him. Now we've got, with the third pick that Ryan Poles selected in Velus Jones, 3rd round. Total bust. Swing and a miss. Grade, total fail. I'm sure you guys all agree with that. I don't believe that we have anybody out there in the chat right now that will defend the draft pick of Velus Jones. Horrible. Not good at all. Fourth round, there was no pick at all, okay? We had no pick in the fourth round. How are we doing so far, guys? How are we doing out there in the chat? Are you guys interested? I believe this is very interesting, very telling. I think this is something that we needed to do to take a deep dive because sometimes our emotions get in the way and cloud our judgment as fans, part of media, fans, all of that kind of stuff, in this community, things can get a little bit of clouded and some gray areas, okay? So again, first two picks are passes and Kyler Gordon by Ryan Poles and Brisker. Velus Jones was a total bust, swing and a miss, total fail with the third pick. Again, the fourth pick, there was no fourth round draft pick. Fifth pick was Braxton Jones. That was a hit, and that was a great pickup for a vocabulary here. English language I have troubles with, okay? Serviceable left tackle, good value there, okay? Good value in the fifth round. You can't ask for much more than that. Good, solid pickup, okay? Getting back into the fifth round, the next pick was Dominic Robinson. Hasn't worked out. Total bust, in my opinion. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about that pick? I don't like it at all. He doesn't see the field much. He's really not that great, and I don't know what the heck they saw in this guy, but again, another fifth round bust, okay? Sixth rounder, Zach Thomas, didn't even make the Bears roster. Not even sure where he's at out there. Not even sure if he's playing on another team. He might not even be in the NFL. Just like another sixth rounder, Treston Ebner. He's out of the NFL. He's not even in the league, guys. You guys see a pattern here? You guys see what's going on? Doug Kramer, sixth rounder. He left, he came back, but sixth rounders aren't really expected to shine, I think he was okay. I think he was serviceable, whatever. Again, sixth rounder. I give that a pass, but, he fumbled the ball. He wasn't even supposed to have the ball in his hands at that point. I digress with that. He's supposed to be a backup sixth rounder. You don't really expect much out of him, Tyree Carter, seventh rounder, played okay, but now he's on a different team. Still a hit for the seventh round. I would say that was a pass, okay? Trenton Gill was another seventh rounder, punter. So bad that they had to draft another punter 2 years later. Trenton Gill, total bust, man. Conclusion on 2022 draft, not bad considering there was no first round pick. The later round picks, not so much. Swing and a miss on a lot of those, but passing. We'll give that a passing for 2022. Not great, but passing, okay? 2023 draft. Let's get into that with Ryan Poles. That's what we're doing right now for all the folks that are joining out there on all of the social media, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Twitter. We've got it all over. We've even got it on TikTok now. So for all those that are out there, what we're doing is we're making a case for Ryan Poles. Some shocking traits about Poles, some shocking information, some facts about him, and we're trying to unpack whether or not he should be left in the building and come back next year and be trusted in order to get this team back on track. He's already had 3 years in the building. Let's get back into it. We're starting off with the draft, then we're going to work our way into the free agency, then we're going to work our way into coaching, okay? And trades too. Trades is another one. With the 2023 draft, the Chicago Bears select Darnell Wright, first rounder. Solid pickup despite the Jalen Carter debate. He's the best offensive line when combined with health and performance. Out of anyone on the Chicago Bears with health and performance, he is a solid pickup. I give that grade a solid passing grade, okay? The debate will be forever about whether we should have got Jalen Carter or not, but as far as the pickup, solid pickup, I give that a solid passing grade. Second pick in the draft, Javon Dexter, second round. Solid player who has shown improvement. The grade that I give him is a good grade. I think he's good. I think he's serviceable. I think he's a good, solid defensive lineman, good three technique. He's shown promise this year. He's had shown some growth. We'll see what happens. The jury's still out, but as of right now, he has shown improvement, and I'll give that a passing grade so far. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I lost connection there. Hopefully, we're back on track there. Hope I didn't lose too much of you. Like I said, stay to the end. We're going to open it up for question and answer. We are now in the second round of the 2023 draft. The Chicago Bears select Tyreek Stevenson. Tough and talented, but inconsistent. He showed a lot of grit early as a rookie. He finished out strong in the end. Roller coaster season this year with a little progression at all. He's shown some very shady situations where he's took his mind off the field and started talking to fans and stuff. And he's just not really been as good as he was as a rookie. The jury's still out with him, but as of right now, I give him a C-. Okay, so he's barely passing right now. That could change though. Zach Pickens, third round, complete flop. Healthy and active last week. Grade bust. I think you guys see a trending pattern right now with all these third round draft picks, okay? Rashawn Johnson in the fourth round. Hyped him, the Chicago Bears hyped him up as a starter, but hasn't even lived up to it. At best, he's a good he's a good second round or a second back or a third back, you know. He's actually a second string or a third string. He's good and good at blocking. He's good at pass protection. He's good at running the ball. He's decent in those type of things. Good at screens, good in special teams, but not great. Like I said, he's second string or third string at best. So I give that an average grade there as far as the pickup in the fourth round. Again, it's a fourth round. We didn't expect much out of that, right? They did hype him up as a starter, though. So as far as that goes, they failed at that. But as far as a fourth rounder, you know, solid pickup, right? Another fourth round pickup is Tyler Scott. Tyler Squat. Tyler Diddley Squat. Tyler Scott, fourth rounder. Love the pickup initially, but only 19 catches in 2 seasons. Swing and a miss. Grade for me is disappointing. Very disappointing. Noah Sewell, fifth rounder. I'm surprised that some of you guys even know that this guy's on the team. Big nothing burger. Hasn't done nothing. Diddly squat. Nothing at all. Fifth rounder, Terrell Smith. Good backup, good traits, and a solid fifth round pick, but he struggles with injury, you know. Good solid guy, though. Good solid guy in the fifth round. You can't ask for much in the fifth round, okay? Travis Bell, seventh rounder. Back on the practice squad, hasn't contributed. I don't even know. Is he on the practice squad? I think he is. Hasn't done nothing at all. Kendall Williamson, seventh rounder, didn't make the team. So, yeah. Conclusion on the 2023 draft, C-. Pulls have struggled to hit consistently in the later rounds. Okay. Moving on to the 2024 draft. This one's very telling too, okay? So just, you know, like I said, getting into that, talking about that. Let's see here. Caleb Williams, first rounder, right QB decision, but if he's the third or fourth best player in the draft, that's on polls, right? As of right now, I would still draft him again, but the jury's still out. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, you know, the jury's still out on Caleb. I'm a fan of him. I'd like to see him do better. I'd like to see him progress. So again, Right now, as of right now, we'll give Caleb Williams a pass, okay? Rome Odunze, first rounder. Talented but inconsistent. The jury's still out on Rome Odunze. Again, Rome Odunze and Caleb, they were promised. They told us they were going to be great. They told us all these kinds of things. I would like to see more of Rome Odunze. I'd like to see more of Caleb. As of right now, they're trending in the right direction. They look good. If they progress into their sophomore second year, then I will have a more definitive answer on that. And it's kind of hard with this draft class to make a solid drafting grade. We've still got one game left, but as of right now, I will give those guys passing grades, okay? Karam Amagaji, third round pick, a project player and a reach for the third round, especially when trenches are a very important commodity and something that we are lacking. I really do not see why we went for this guy in the third round. The jury's still out on him. It's very telling when you've got guys like Jake Cron out there, and he's horrible. Okay, there's a lot of guys out there that shouldn't be out on the field, but I'm telling you right now, as God is my witness, as a third round draft pick, you would like to see him out there try to find his way on the field. He can't stay healthy. He's a scratch. Sometimes he's a healthy scratch. I don't know what's going on with this guy, but as of right now, the jury's still out. And right now I'm calling this a flawed pick only because I believe that it was a reach and there was other guys that were available. Torrey Taylor, a punter, a fourth round pick. At first, I was very mad at this guy, but then I saw the leg. Oh my gosh, what a leg. This guy can punt. He looks like he's got a drone on his freaking foot, man. Unbelievable. But it was also a bold and arrogant pick for the team's position. If he turns into a decade-long punter, gets some Pro Bowls, it's a win. But right now, with all the blaring holes and everything that we needed, at the fourth round, I felt like that was very reachy, and very bold and very arrogant and cocky move, man. It's just the Chicago way. It's just the way things have been lately. Austin Booker, we traded back into the draft to get him. Again, another developmental guy. Jury's still out on him. He checks a lot of boxes. We feel good about it. But again, we haven't seen enough about him. We'd like to see him out on the field more. Again, the jury's still out, but he is a late round draft pick. We'll see. Draft grade overall, I'll give it a C-, okay? Poles has missed on key picks, particularly in the third round, guys. So, overall, for the entire drafting, I would give him a barely passing grade for this entire drafting of the first 3 years, okay? Let's get into the free agency moves. This is where my blood's going to boil. You guys are going to have to freaking hold me back. You're going to have to calm me down. Should have took a blood pressure pill, maybe not drank so much coffee earlier in the day. Again, I wanted to unpack this for you guys because this has been something that people have dropped in our in our box, in our inbox, and have been asking us on the phone, texting us, calling us, talking about all of these things about Ryan Poles, whether we should trust to bring him back, whether we should trust him in the free agency again, whether we should trust him in the drafting, whether we should trust him in the trading, whether we should trust him as a person to pick the next coach and all of the OC, DC, all the coordinators and all of the 11 herbs and spices to make up the coaching staff, okay? Let's get into the free agency, okay? Let's talk about the hits. Let's talk about TJ Edwards. Great value at 3 years, $19 million. I like TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards is a solid guy, about $6.5 million or so per year. Solid pickup, okay? Decent player. Not an excellent player, but decent player. I'd say above average for sure. How about another free agency move? Andrew Billings. Got him on the cheap. Solid journeyman. He can fit the bill. He's a plug-and-play guy. Decent guy, but again, another guy, he's not overwhelming. He's not a blue chip guy. Neither is TJ Edwards, but still two serviceable guys. I'd say those are hits, okay? Misses, Nate Davis. Nate, the ain't so great Davis. What a disaster signing. Spent lots of money on him. He was supposed to be our savior from Tennessee, never could find the field, had lots of trouble, lots of issues, injuries, whatever, just didn't want to be here. Terrible signing. Here's another miss. Letting David Montgomery walk. Letting him walk only to see him outperform in Detroit. Then he got paid, rightfully so, because he did so well over there that he outperformed his contract and got paid top dollar for all those rushing yards and those touchdowns that he ran in, man. He was averaging a touchdown or more per game. Solid guy. Never wanted to see him go. Really disappointed that we let that guy go. I was disappointed. And now, like I said, that would be a veteran in the building that we could actually use. Not really a fan of Swift. I think he's too quirky. I think he tries to find and gets too cute by trying to find the hole, and his field vision is a little bit off. He's a little bit off the bubble. Like I said, David Montgomery, we let him walk. I consider that a miss. Tremaine Edmonds, overpaid compared to Roquan Smith, who they traded. Tremaine Edmonds was $18 million. Roquan Smith was $20. That's 90% of the contract Tremaine Edmonds got, and a lot less value there too. Roquan was our guy. He was our day one guy. He was awesome. He was a blue chip guy. I loved him. We let him go, and we picked up Tremaine Edmonds, and to me, that is a mess. Yannick Ngakoue, one of the worst pass rushers by win rate ratio ever. He was horrible. We all want him to be good. We all thought he was going to be great. And at the end of the day, our freaking edge rushing and our trenches on the defensive side of the ball was so bad that we were actually begging for Yannick to come back. It was that bad, man. My grade is an F for these, misses. Too many bad moves and no blue chip players added. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Let's talk about some trades. Let's talk about some hits. Carolina trade. Turned number 1 draft pick into DJ Moore, Darnell Wright, and Caleb Williams is pending. Here's another one. Chris Williams. He ended up being a decent rotation player. I liked him. Okay. What about some misses? Khalil Mack trade. Failed to replace him. We still, to this day, have not replaced Khalil Mack. And the following year, he got 17 sacks. We still have not replaced freaking Khalil Mack to this day. Here's another miss. Chase Claypool. Total disaster, giving away the 32nd pick overall to the freaking Steelers for this guy. I could understand why Poles tried to do it, okay, with the Band-Aid type approach. He tried to give Justin Fields, Byron Pringle. He tried to give him a big quality receiver in Chase Claypool, those type of guys. None of them panned out, and it's whatever. But that was really bad. That one stings. Here's another miss. Roquan Smith trade. Poor value and wasted the cap space gained. I mean, ridiculous. Ridiculous trade. I do believe that's the one that we got Tyler Scott in, and to this day has only 19 catches. So that 5th round pick is all for naught, because really we haven't got nothing out of that 5th round pick. So basically all we got for that is a 2nd round draft pick. Okay. Yeah, man, really bad. So I give that a grade C to C+. The Carolina trade saves him from being a complete failure. And also, if Caleb turns his franchise around and ends up being the best quarterback we ever had, that's what keeps him off the bubble from being a C- to a D+, whatever. So he barely passes in these trades here. Okay. Let's talk about coaching moves, guys. Matt Eberflus. He was a poor hire and even worse decision to retain, man. Now, I notice there is a situation here, and we don't know much about it, but here's what we do know. We do know that there was 3 finalists, okay? We do know that there was a Dan Quinn, there was a Matt Eberflus, okay, Dan Quinn, and then there was who was Caldwell. Caldwell, I don't even know if he's in the league or whatever. I would have liked to have Dan Quinn, and rightfully so. You see what he did with Washington right now in his first year. They're knocking on the play. I think they're in the playoffs, right, guys? Yeah. So I would have liked Dan Quinn, but for him to retain Matt Eberflus, there's been times where he's talked about Matt Eberflus and he's wanted Matt Eberflus. Most recently on a show, he was talking about, you know, Matt Eberflus being a great guy and all this and that. And I know he stood up for him, and I don't know if he was told to stood up for him, but I do believe that he believed in Matt Eberflus and he thought he was a good guy. So that right there concerns me. Position coaches amongst the worst in the NFL, no notable development in any of the areas. I mean, you got to look at it is for what it is, man. Terrible guys, you know. Thomas Brown, he wasn't even supposed to be in the position that he's in right now, you know. He wasn't even supposed to be an OC, let alone a head coach, and that was the best available in the building. I mean, look at it that way, man. Look at the Waldron. He said that Shane Waldron, he said this on the Dan Wiederman show. He said that Shane Waldron was one of the best talkers, was the best communicator that he's ever been around. Now, I don't know if he was like that in the classroom or behind closed doors, but everything that I heard, he was terrible. He couldn't even get the plays out to Caleb in time, in the helmet, this stuff. I didn't see much of that, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about, especially with Eberflus, Aaron Williams. That guy, he had trouble. The feds had to come knock on the door. That was a terrible pickups all the way around. All these guys. And Chris Morgan, he should have been the first one gone. Shoelace Express. You guys know how I feel about the offensive line coaching. You need a good guy in there like Kreutz to freaking shore that freaking offensive line up. Because I believe that in the NFL, no position as a whole, it has other positions that are more dependent on the offensive line for them to do their job. The quarterback, the running back, the receivers, the tight end, all these guys are reliant on the offensive line, and we needed to shore that up. I can't stand Chris Morgan. I wish he was out of here. I'm calling him a fraud as being a coach, man. I give the coaching hires a disastrous F all the way across the board, not just as the Chicago Bears for the last 3 years, but in the NFL total. I think they are the worst. They are the laughingstock of coaching in the NFL. Terrible. Can we rely on Ryan Poles to pick new coaches? No, absolutely not. Overall assessment for the draft, I gave it a C. The free agency, I gave it an F. For the trades, I gave it a C, C+. For the coaching, I give it an F. What does that tell you? For the final grade, a failing C- at best. I'm calling it a D+ or a D, which is failing. In my book, he deserves a lot of spankings. And he deserves a shoelace express on his way out of here. Get Ryan Poles out of the building. Ryan Poles has not demonstrated the ability to improve the Bears roster significantly. His hits are overshadowed by numerous misses. It's time to consider a new direction at the GM. I got some questions for you guys in the chat. Let's open it up to the chat right now, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show so far. Let's open it up to you guys. Do you guys think that Ryan Poles should be fired? He should have taken Dan Quinn. I agree. Harbaugh was there too. Why didn't he take Harbaugh? Why did he keep and say there's another cocky, bold move that he shouldn't have did? Why did he? And honestly, here's the thing that gets me the most. Here's something on the Dan Wiederman show that he also said. Some of these problems that we have in-house go all the way back to training camp. So I'm trying to say to you this. Does he not have the right gumption? Does he not have the big enough voice to make those corrections inside the house and say, hey, we need to address these things way back in training camp? Or is he just finding out about this now? It's his job to know these things as the GM. This is not good at all, okay? And for him to pass on Harbaugh and say, nah, I'm going to go ahead and retain this guy. Or should he went up and said, hey, this is not the guy. He should have went up and made a case to Kevin Warren, to, ownership, and said, Matt Eberflus is not the guy. That in itself, a very, very much bothers me. Now look at, he's got like 14 wins or something, or 13 wins. Okay. Now you take away the first, I think it was like three wins, then 7 wins. Now we're back to 4 wins, right? 3, 7, 4. You take the first year away because he was in a tumultuous, bad situation. I get that. So now you still got 11 wins. You're still 11-22. That's bad. That's horrific. That's terrible. You want to talk about wins, pal? There you go. There's your answers. There's your overall. 11 wins, 22 losses if you forego the first season, which I don't know why you would, but let's go ahead and play a devil's advocate and do that anyways. Do you think that Ryan Poles should be fired? Okay. Yes, I agree. Scottish Bear. Look what Harbaugh is doing with all the Bears fans wanted him. Why not bring Harbaugh in? That is totally ridiculous. To me, that is freaking malpractice at its finest. James Childress says, yes, can him. I agree. Trapakeepa says 100. He's a beta. I'd give him 1 more year. Luis Claudito says he's working with a clean slate. If we don't have a winning record with drastic changes across every aspect, he goes. Poles definitely has to go and find a GM that will lead. What does he let it? He hasn't led in any of the areas we went over him. Tell me what he's led in. Drafting? No. Free agency? F. Horrible picks. Coaching? F. Terrible. All right. Who would you like to see as the next GM? Who would you like to see as the next Bears GM? Richard Schieffer. What's up, Richard? Give him the boot. I agree, buddy. Let's give him the boot. Let's get him out of here. 100% expect Poles will still be with the team in 2025. He should have been fired with Fluss. I agree, buddy. I agree. Let us know in the comments below. Who do you think you'd like to see as the next GM? Is there anybody out there? How about Louis Riddick? You guys like Louis Riddick? Any other GMs out there that interest you guys? Trapakeepa said anybody. We'll take Trapakeepa. Trapakeepa, come on down. He's been horrible in the trenches, man. Unbelievable. Horrible picking in the trenches and the free agency too. Horrific. Agnew for Detroit. Okay. All right. What's the background for Agnew? What's his deal? Is he an assistant GM, Trappa? Childress likes Riddick. Lewis wants Pete Carroll as a GM. I think he still wants to coach, so I don't know if that's an option. I don't think it's an option. I think he wants to coach still. But he could be like a GM type, a GM type coach, So, yeah, you guys got some good solutions out there. But honestly, man, very alarming for me to see all of this crap, man. Ian Cunningham. Yeah. Ian Cunningham is a good fit. He was the one that actually told Poles to chill out. He really wanted to get Odunze, and he was willing to trade up to get him. And Ian was like, chill. I think he'll fall to us. I believe he'll fall to us. Just hang on tight, because we only had 4 picks, right? You saw what he did with Austin Booker later on in the punter, right? Well, check it out, man. I mean, honestly, when you look at it, he would have freaking pulled the pin. He would have pulled the pin and traded more draft capital for 2025 into 2024. I'm glad Ian was in the building, and I wonder how many other times Ian's been in the building trying to freaking calm Ryan Poles down. It's time for him to go. We can't trust him any longer. We can't trust him with the coaching search. We can't trust him in free agency. Gave Sweat almost $100 million contract. Now, I wonder if Sweat is still battling that foot, because last year he transformed our defense, right? He looked good at times. He was very good, actually. He looked like a true bona fide number one edge rusher. Now he looks like a number two. Hopefully he's just tampering and taking care of that foot, and he'll come back stronger than ever. And we really need him to, because that was a lot of cheddar that they shelled out for that man, honestly. Oh, he's a assistant GM, smarter than Poles. I agree, and he was an understudy to somebody who knows how to do it right. And he's going to build it within the trenches, right? So, yeah. Hey, what up, Slick? As an offensive line coach concerned, I'd go after Olin Kreutz. I agree, man. I agree. What up, Slick? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody that's out there, we appreciate you guys for hanging out with Tracks After Dark. Leave some comments in the chat. Hit that like button. We appreciate you guys. I would like for them to pursue Ron Rivera as a defensive coach. I don't think that's going to happen, Ice. He wants to be a head coach. So, yeah, that's not in the cards, bro. But I see what you're saying. For sure. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, Ice. Thanks for commenting, man, and being a part of the chat. For sure, guys. Olin Kreutz should be involved in some way, shape, or form. I agree, man. I agree. He's been out front and open and honest. He tells it like it is. He is a player, and he sticks around in Chicago. He loves Chicago. He tells it like it is. Now, I know that's not the McCaskey way, but, I'm telling you right now, man, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and his name keeps coming up for a reason. Let's hope that they do something about it, So I would like for them to pursue Ron Rivera as a defensive coach. Yep, I agree. He would be good as a defensive coach as long as he was willing to be that, you know what I mean? And let's not let them pick him as a defensive coach. Let's let the new head coach pick him as a defensive coach. I don't want an arranged marriage. Like, that's what the Chicago Bear way is doing, man. They bring an arranged marriage, and it's meant to fail that way. Let the guy pick his own staff. Black Rain 7920. What's up, Black Rain? Make sure you subscribe, bro. We appreciate you. Leave a good review. Tell about us to all of your friends, man, out there. Be a friend, tell a friend. We appreciate you. I agree. There's no way that we need to keep him, for sure. We should not keep Poles. I was on the fence, and I really didn't even think about it as heavily as I did. But once I did this deep dive into this guy and everything that he's done, it's been a cluster. It has been a complete disaster. There's been nothing good here. Thank you guys for everybody that's been out in the chat. We got over 100 in the building across all platforms, Twitter universe, out there with TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all you guys. Love you guys. Instagram, you guys are great, man. Appreciate you guys, everybody out there right now. Let us know what you think. Agnew sounds like a good fit to me. Louis Riddick sounds like a good fit to me. I like what Trapakeepa said. Anybody as a GM would be a good fit to me, for sure. And you know what? Let's face it, man. It's time to move on. Based on what merit? What merit do you give Poles? What do you give him? Why give him a pass? Why give him a pass? We already know what he's about in free agency. He got rid of Roquan Smith, man. He's never replaced freaking, and we still have problems in the trenches. He's never replaced Khalil Mack. I see what he did. I know what he did. He wanted to get rid of some contracts and whatever, and get rid of some aging guys. But the next year, he got 17 sacks. Roquan Smith is killing it in Baltimore. And this Tremaine Edmonds is a flat-out punk. He's average at best, man. TJ Edwards is better, and he's for freaking a third of the cost. Total swing and a miss. Now, if they would have took that money that they used for Roquan Smith and put it into the to shore up the trenches, which they didn't, then I would have understand. But as this unfolds, it looked worse and worse and worse, man, for sure. Yes, we do need to keep. We need real analytics and smart football people. I agree. I agree. Keep the McCaskies out of the coach and player selections and let the new head coach and GM do their jobs. That's a problem with a guy like Ben Johnson, guys. I'm not going to lie. He's going to be yes man for a while, and rightfully so. When you first get your very first head coaching job, you do not want to create ripples. You want to be a head down guy, a yes man, go to work, do the best you can do, whatever. You don't need that right now. You need a seasoned veteran, somebody that has had a winning, say, hey, listen, you guys have done it wrong for this long. I've done it right. You brought me in here to do my job. Now let me do my job. That's the kind of guy we need in the building, not only as a head coach, but as a GM. Can I get an amen? Also, shouldn't the new GM be hired first before the head coach? Shouldn't we interview a new GM before we interview the new head coach? Or should it be arranged by a marriage and saying, okay, here's the new head coach. Now we're going to go out and get a GM? Kind of like a cart before the horse, man. I don't like these arranged marriages. Don't you guys agree that we should get a new GM in place before we get a new head coach? So that way he can be a part of that hiring process and lets us know who he wants, who he sees out there, because he's going to be closer to the fire. He's going to be a part of today's NFL and have a better understanding. I believe that is the right way to do things, right? If I hear RAS scores again on bum players, I'm done. Yeah, that was an analytic that I did not like, Trapakipa. Whoever we get, they should get paid based on the production of their players. Yeah, I mean, there's something there too. How would that look? How would that work out? Can you guys see that in today's world, in today's NFL, that guys are actually going to get paid that way? I mean, that's interesting. Are you talking about where Jim Harbaugh got an extra $1 million because he made the playoffs for player incentive or coaching incentive? Are you talking about that? Not base contract, right? There's no way that could happen because you'll never get a coach in here, because it's going to take a little bit of time and you don't know exactly what's going to happen, But yeah, yeah, I agree, James. Let's get a new GM, then go for the coaching. But here's the deal. We better act fast because these coaches after Black Monday, they are going to get gobbled up fast. They might even get gobbled up faster than the GM. And that's what troubles me is I've heard that they've already been talking to coaches, but I haven't heard any talks at all about talking to a GM. But I do believe, and I saw reports today that he is on the hot seat and his seat has gotten hotter, especially after the last game for sure. So that's interesting to look at right now because that might change everything. They might pivot and stop talking to coaches right now, and their focus and their main priority might be on a GM, or maybe they'll say, hey, head coach, hang on tight. We're getting ready to talk to some GMs. Would you mind hanging on tight for a little bit? We got to do a deep dive on our, and obviously I'm making common sense. So it's probably not going to happen by the Chicago Bears, but we're dreaming. Okay. So Richard Schaefer says depends only if Ben Johnson says he would come here if they get his style of GM. That's interesting. That's very interesting. That's an interesting take. Something to consider for sure. I don't know how much weight he has to throw around, honestly, as a first-year rookie head coach, but that's an interesting take, too. I could see that for sure. Just trying to get a couple more groups, Facebook groups in here so they can watch the show, man. You guys have been great so far. I actually had a lot of notes. I did a deep dive, and I took a lot of notes, but the ones that I gave you are basically like the gist of everything. If you want me to go a little bit deeper, I have time. But like I said, that was just the gist of everything. I could really get into some trades that'll make your head spin, and also some free agent picks that were horrific. and some decision makings and some coaches. We all know Getsy. We already know about him. Munoz says Poles will be fired this week. Munoz, can you tell us, is it your gut? Have you saw something? Was there another show? Did you read something? What tells you that? I would hope so. Right now I'm about mid on this. I'm about 45% feeling the same way you are, but I don't know anything for sure. Who's your coach going into next year? Who do I want my coach to be? I want it to be somebody that's already been battle tested. I want somebody that knows what it's like to win. I want somebody that the clock is ticking on them and they don't have much time to waste. They need to come in right now, hit the ground running and win, and they want to right the ship. Because right now we've got a 3-year window, and some of our players, and let's be honest, every team in the NFL has decent players, okay? We've got a few, okay? We've got Caleb. We've got Sweat, we've got JJ. I mean, it ends there. There's really not a whole lot more. There's really not a whole lot more players that I would have to keep. Could I find another DJ Moore out there? Yes. Could I find another rookie receiver out there? Yes. Could I find another Keenan Allen out there? Yes, absolutely. Could I find another Cole Kmet? I'm still trying to find a position on the field for a Cole Kmet to make sense. I don't know what's going on here. Why he can't work out in our – I don't know what's going on. I like him, but I think I like him for some sentimental reasons. But, yeah, I could find another tight end out there. Look what Brock Bowers did today. Shout out to Brock from freaking Bulldogs, man. The guy just broke freaking Ditka's all-time tight end record, man. Unbelievable. Shout out to Ditka for having that long of a record, man. Unbelievable. Getsy was a disaster. Let's not open that wound. Why not? Why not open that wound? That's a guy that, rightfully so, that is somebody that we brought in here. That is somebody that falls upon Pole's shoulders, okay? Another one with Shane Waldron. I mean, it is disaster. Alan Williams, it is a disaster after disaster. Chris Morgan. Do you really want a guy in here like Poles to do this all over again? Name one coach that you feel like we have to have. Even the tight end coach. Look at all these guys right now. All these guys are going to get lateral positions or maybe just a step down below. Thomas Brown ain't going to get a position as a head coach somewhere. He's not even going to get a position as an OC. He might get a position as a passing coordinator or a running back coach, something like that, but he's not going to get a job elsewhere. Nobody's going to get promoted as a defensive coordinator in the building. Nobody's going to get any of that. Nobody's going to get promoted to OC. That's what we have. That's what Poles hired. Marinate on that. Do we want to repeat itself? Do not let history repeat itself. We will be setting ourselves back another 3 years. Honest to God. And then if this doesn't work out, does Poles get another try at the following year? Because, hey, well, hold on a second. We brought in a new scheme. We brought in 3 head coaches within 1 calendar year of Caleb Williams, OCs, DCs, all this. We can kick down the can down the road for years to come, man. Let's put a tourniquet on it. Let's freaking, we should have addressed this a long time ago. Jim Harbaugh wanted to come here. We were bold enough to say for him not to come here. Like Trapakeepa said earlier, look what he's did with the Chargers in short time. He's in the playoffs, man. He's doing great. Who is our tight ends coach? Jay, hold on. It's in my notes. It's in my notes, man. He might have a lateral move and actually be a tight end coach elsewhere. Sorry about this, guys. Let me see. Jay something. Can somebody I got a lot of notes. I'm sorry. This is a lot. Let's get into coaching. Ooh, I just stumbled on Byron Pringle's name again. Can somebody please pull this up? What about Lucas Patrick? There's another guy who couldn't play. Wow. Patchwork between Lucas Patrick and Coleman Shelton, hiking rollers on the grass. Terrible. Terrible. Letting James Daniels walk. Now he's a great starter for Pittsburgh. What about, okay, here's the very first move that Poles made. If you guys remember this, he was to sign Larry Ogunjobi, and 4 days later, Poles had to renege on that because he failed a physical. Now he's only missed 3 games in Pittsburgh, and he's been a decent player, but he hasn't had any injury issues, and he's been playing pretty good, man. You know, that was the first guy. And I'm not even sold on Kevin Byard. He was a cheap, decent pickup, but he's a decent guy. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get back to your coaching question. I had it in here. It's just not a name that rolls right off my tongue, brother. I feel bad that I don't have this answer for you right now. I was hoping somebody in the chat. What about Doug Kramer, man? Trash. Jeez, oh, Pete's. Did anybody find that tight end out? Who has it better than us? Everybody. Pulls free agent moves. Okay, let's get into the coaching. All I got to do is find the coaching now. My God, I have a lot of freaking notes, guys. This is crazy. Ryan Bates. What about that healthy, unhealthy obsession for Ryan Bates? Why the hell did he pulls his obsession with Ryan Bates, man? Unbelievable. Very unhealthy, man. He's still on IR and still in protocol. I don't know what his deal. He's got an arthritic shoulder, concussion, all this crap, man. All this crap. Coaching moves. Here we go. Like I said, Dan Quinn. He was a defensive coordinator with the Cowboys. Solid move. Trying to find that stinking coach, man. Nobody's found it or even probably cared to look for it. I'm still looking for this tight end coach. Jim Dre. Jim Dre is our tight end coach. There you go. Bam, Trapakeepa. Sorry that took forever. Jim Dre. I see we dropped 2 spots back to pick 9. It's like 5, 4, 12 teams again. Okay. Did Poles get fired yet? Sanders. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, Sanders. I appreciate you. Yep. Hit that like button too, man. Leave the comments below. Appreciate you guys coming out. Yeah. So we got 3 picks in the top 40. Do you trust Poles to have those 3 picks in the top 40? We have good solid picks on the back end of the draft. Do we want him to reach in the 3rd round and go get another freaking guy and be cute with it and go try to find a guy who can't even find the field like Karama Amagaji, and then have a guy like Jake Karan freaking waste a game, you know? Unbelievable, guys. Think about it, man. Who the hell is the tight end that I just hey, all I'm saying is he hasn't done horrible. He might get another shot as a tight end coach elsewhere, okay? No, I knew you were already subscribed. I was just saying, Sanders in general, everybody please subscribe. I try to get it out there, and I try to make excuses to get it out there. That's the way we keep the show going, man. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys' time. Hope everybody did good in the championship for the drafts. I hope you guys won today, and not the drafts, in fantasy football. I did not. I did very terrible, okay? I had Chase. Chase did me wrong. My quarterback for Philly, he did me wrong. He actually had to sit out. And then I ended up having Stafford in there, which he hasn't done that great this year as far as fantasy goes. Just a horrible, horrible day. And actually, my tight end, Brock Bowers, he does really great usually. And he did great today, but not as great as he normally does. The only really big was, I think, my Chiefs defense. I think that was the one that did. He got like 10 points. I still got the kicker for the Detroit Lions, and I've got the running back Gibbs he's got to go off. He's got to have a heck of a day. He's got to have like 40, 50 points, which it's possible. It might happen, but it's not looking good for your boy, Poles is a friend. Yeah, he's more of a friend than a GM, and I think that's why some people are like inclined to keep him. Trace Armstrong needs to stay away from this. Yes, he's been watching my shows too, and that's why he doesn't take my texts anymore. So you guys have been strong on Trace Armstrong. He no longer responds to us, and that's okay. But anyways, appreciate you guys. Who's your first pick this year? My first pick this year is the kid out of LSU. I'd like to see him at the left tackle position. I'd like to see him. I'd also like to see us go out and get a guard. I have in my possession everybody that I would like for us to draft. Give me 1 second, please. Will Campbell at tackle from LSU. My second pick, 39th pick in the draft, I would like Wyatt Millum from West Virginia, another tackle. For our 41st pick, 2 picks later, I would like Jonah Savanea from Arizona, interior lineman. 71st pick, I'd like Gray Zabel from North Dakota State, another offensive tackle. For my 144th pick, I'd like Jack Nelson, another offensive tackle out of Wisconsin. For my 200th pick, I'd like Luca Condra from Cincinnati for interior offensive lineman. For my 229th pick, I'd like J.C. Davis out of Illinois, homegrown offensive tackle. And for our 246th pick, you guys guessed it, another offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman from Purdue, Gus Hartwig, another guy. I wonder if he's related to the other Hartwig. Remember that Hartwig offensive lineman? He was pretty badass too. Can't remember his name, but I wonder if he's related. That would be cool. It's in the pedigree. That was a good offensive lineman, guys. Give me his number. I'll give him a little guy. I can't drop, freaking locations and numbers and addresses and all that kind of stuff. Sorry, man. There's one from Georgia on defense I'd like, but I can't put my finger on him. Yeah, you saw I got cute with it. I hired all offensive linemen. We've got to short up, man, on both sides, man. Mostly all on the offense, though. I think we went out and did decent on the defense. I think we could pick up some guys in the free agency for defensive linemen. But out of the draft, I like what Pittsburgh did. They picked up 2, maybe 3 offensive linemen in the draft, and I think they started 2, but one got injured. So, yeah, there's always that. But I really like, shoring up the trenches, taking care of Caleb, taking care of our running backs, making sure they cook, going out and get a guy. Did Saquon break the record today? I know he broke a couple of them, but did he break the all-time rushing for over 2,000 yards or something? I don't know. Trapakeepa says, consistency. Salute. Yeah, exactly, man. For sure. No. And, some guys said that they would like us to get a running back. I'm not opposed to that. I'd like to see him later in the draft, get a running back, even in free agency, pick up a running back in the free agency, pick up a running back in the draft, late in the draft, something like that. But we really need to address the offensive line for sure. In this draft, we have to get the offensive line right. For sure. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Hope I didn't break your hearts. Like Trapakeepa said, he's more of a friend than a GM. It's time to let him go. If you're catching this show late, let us know what you think. Let us know if you want to keep Ryan. If you don't want to keep Ryan Poles, who would you like? Would you like Agnew, the assistant GM from Detroit Lions? Would you like Louis Riddick, another GM? Let us know who you like at GM. Or if you're like Trepakeepa and just said, hey, anybody will do except Ryan Poles. Maybe that's your option. Hope you guys like our show. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Hope we gave you some good information. Have a good night, man. Chi-Town up, bear down.